Hey guys, this is Derek from the Wrestling IQ 101 podcast. I just want to let you know about this great deal that we have with Collar and Elbow. Collar and Elbow is where urban streetwear meets wrestling. Act now and use our discount code WIQ101 to receive extra savings at checkout when you visit collarandelbowbrand.com today. Wrestling IQ 101 and Collar and Elbow. It's a match made in wrestling heaven.
Hey guys, this is Andrew.
And this is Derek.
And this is Wrestling IQ 101. And make sure you check out our good friends at Go Pro Wrestling and their first event, Go Big or Go Home.
Definitely. Make sure you go to goprowrestling.com, use the promo code WIQ101 at checkout to get a discount today.
Yeah. Look, Wrestling 101, classes in session. Pay attention to the teachings, that's from Andrew and Derek. I mean, these guys making a killing with no competition. Dynamic duo better than the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. Everybody make some noise, mess with them, you get destroyed. They cannot be beat, take a seat. Watch them do they thing on the MIC. Face defeat, they cannot be seen like JC. Oh my goodness, it's a killing spree.
This is Public Enemy number one, TJ Marconi. You're listening to the Wrestling IQ 101. Now you got a story to tell.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Wrestling IQ 101. I'm Andrew alongside Derek.
Yep.
And you can listen to Wrestling IQ 101 on YouTube, here on YouTube, B Plus Player, or iTunes Wrestling IQ 101. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wrestling IQ 101. And today we're joined by Anthony Henry. How's it going, man?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, thank you for coming on. You know, Anthony, before we get started, I mean, you're going to be here in New Jersey, in Wayne, New Jersey, for Go Big or Go Home, their first show, and you're going to be facing Killer Cross on September 28th. Can you give us a little insight on that match?
Yeah, man. I don't know a lot about Killer Cross. I've come across them a few times, a couple different promotions that I've been at. A few times that I went over to the West Coast in California. So I did meet him. Obviously, he's a very large individual, so there's going to be a size difference there. But that's never really bothered me. He's from what I can tell, he's a hell of an athlete, and he's got some training, obviously, in various martial arts forms, like myself. So I think what you're looking at is going to be a hard-hitting encounter, you know, and I'm going to have to move around and use some of my crazy technique to put him down.
Sure, yeah, he has a hell of a match ahead of him, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And, you talked a little bit about the mixed martial arts. I think it's pretty cool, when like the sports, they blend together, kind of like in this situation, blending into wrestling itself. How did you get into mixed martial arts? Like, when did you start doing that?
They've all kind of been, both sports have been kind of intertwined for me, like from the beginning, from the onset of just my interest in either. My earliest memories of wrestling, always was accompanied by MMA. So, like, for example, I might surprise you with my age, but I'm a little bit older than most people think, and so I remember, being a young child and going to like the Blockbusters and renting actual VHSs and renting like the old WWF videos, WCW videos, whatever. And but with that, I would also rent the UFCs as well. So I'd be watching both. So what got me into MMA is the same thing that got me into pro wrestling. I just love both. And there was a period of time where, I started off as a pro wrestler. Period of time where I took a little break for a few years, and that's when I really, really got into training and and actually had some fights and all that sort of thing, and then got drawn back to the world of pro wrestling. So.
Yeah, nice. That's good. I mean, now an important question for Blockbuster: were you always kind, and did you rewind?
I think so. I don't think I was that guy, because I think they charge you 50 cents or something crazy, if you didn't rewind it. So.
Hey, at least you had that down. But growing up, who were some of the MMA fighters that you liked, and also on the opposite side, who were some of the wrestlers that got you into that?
Yeah, sure. So it's kind of funny, the way, like I said, all this is intertwined, because the very first guy I liked a lot, for as far as an MMA guy, was Ken Shamrock. Which is funny because he came out with the trunks, and he had the robe on, and obviously his connection with pro wrestling, so he was more the wrestler guy. And then I kind of like Dan Severn, so I kind of always gravitated towards that anyway. Now on the flip side for the wrestling part of this answer, the first guy that I absolutely loved was as a child was Sting. Was Surfer Sting, for probably obvious reasons, bright, colorful, very charismatic. Then I started really liking the bad guys, so Shawn Michaels and Mr. Perfect, and then later on as I got really into some stuff years later, it was Thou Who Shall Not Be Named, aka Wild Pegasus, Jericho, Malenko, Guerrero, all those guys. So very taste in the wrestling, but it all started with the Surfer Sting on the wrestling part of that.
Oh man, nice stuff.
Now, do you see that, with both mixed martial arts and wrestling as well, do you see sort of some of the same disciplines in both sports?
Yeah, they're a lot different, but they are similar in a lot of ways. Now, I think on the pro wrestling aspect, you can get away with, some people can get away with maybe not training as much like an athlete like you have to do for MMA. But I think for the guys who are really disciplined and really 100% in, the training can even be similar, and the discipline as far as that goes is similar. So definitely, again, it all intertwines. So I definitely can see the similarities in the training and what you have to do in order to succeed in either sport.
Sure. And, it's crazy because this is a 16-year plus odyssey for you. How does it feel knowing that you're one of the best out there? You're having all these dream matches that I've noticed, but this is something that wasn't overnight for you.
Oh, yeah, for sure not. But the same token, it's kind of like one of those things. Like I probably wasn't ready, early on anyway. So and part of that's on me just for not getting to the right places and having the discipline. I think it depends on the person and life experiences and things like that, because everything affects you and impacts who you are. And it just took a while for me to really grow up and realize, if you want something, you have to work for it. And finally just put my foot down and told myself, you're going to commit to this. And it's funny, once I committed, everything started happening. And I'm blessed 16 years later, and never thought I'd be where I'm at now. But yeah, it's really cool. And I don't know, when I first started, that version of me would have never thought I'd be where I'm at.
Sure. Besides the evolution that you went through personally, how has wrestling changed that you've noticed from when you first started till now?
I think that certainly on an independent level, it's obviously exploded, and that's not hard to see. Everybody knows that at this point, but it's just from a wrestler's point of view. Starting out in 2002, and going to independent shows, and then going to independent shows now, and seeing the love and appreciation that the fans have for independent wrestling compared to what it was then. It's night and day. It's completely different. And then also just from a wrestler standpoint, there's so much out there now for any independent wrestler to get work and to get valuable work, against valuable opponents, and everybody's good now for the most part, like
Sure.
Back in 2002, there were guys that were good, but like now the level of that athleticism and creativity and just, everything there's a lot of great guys out there. So I think everything is kind of changed, and most of it's pretty good. So everybody's in a good position to succeed if you want to.
Yeah, and on the reverse end as well, how has it felt to like see the evolution of like mixed martial arts and UFC and things like that it has blown up, to the way it is? And do you ever get like an urge to like compete, in MMA full time?
I think it is super cool that like it is where it is now, because obviously, again, going back to my Blockbuster days, when I was watching there, it was almost like, underground fight club, Brad Pitt's going to pop up out of somewhere and start, citing the rules or whatever. And then, like, it kind of went through an even darker spell later on where it was almost, like, banned from all these, well, it was banned from some states. And, then they had The Ultimate Fighter come out, and, that kind of upped the popularity of UFC, and now we have several companies that are succeeding and doing well, and the money's gone up, and so all that's good, man. As far as me competing, not really. Professional wrestling took over my life, and I would never have the time to do both and to take a break from professional wrestling. Like, I don't even know who I am without professional wrestling anymore at this point. So that's out of the question. So I watch from afar, and I have fun doing that and incorporating it into the professional wrestling. And right now, that's enough for me.
Gotcha.
I mean, you could still call out guys like Jack Swagger or Ken Shamrock. I mean, these guys are still killing it in the world of MMA. I mean, it wasn't too long ago that Ken Shamrock had a fight, right?
Right, yeah. And doing some wrestling stuff too. So I'd love to do some stuff with him on a pro wrestling event. That'd be fun.
Sure. Just a couple of weeks ago, just a couple of days ago, Walter and Tyler Bate had this awesome match, but you've also been in the ring with him. How is it preparing for a guy like him?
Walter? So Walter is an intimidating guy. Obviously, he's a very large individual, and he hits hard. And so to prepare for him, I just I kicked some trees really hard, and was picturing them as his leg, and that was the whole game plan throughout the match, was kick him in the leg as many times as I possibly could, as hard as I possibly could, and hopefully in my head I just envision him falling down, not being able to get up and chop me anymore.
That's a probably good strategy, because he is a tree. He is a pretty stacked human being, but you brought the fight to him. That was a classic match. I suggest anybody go back and watch some of the any of your stuff, because you'll find a whole library of great matches.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun one for sure.
Yeah, and when just looking at you as a physical aspect, it's just like you could tell like you put the work in for sure when it comes to the gym. What is like a normal like fitness routine for you?
Yeah, so like that's been more of a recent, well, not a recent thing, but like my like I said, we were talking about like dedication, and just that for me has been the one of the bigger changes that I guess probably like the last year, especially like the last 6 months or so, the changes that I've had physically, especially from a body composition standpoint, but also just from a conditioning standpoint. And that's just, again, dedication, and give you an insight on that. I used to do like a lot of powerlifting, and that was kind of the only way I trained, and I just really enjoyed that. I still enjoy it, but now it's just more about like intensity and getting a whole lot of work in. So when I go to the gym, I'm in the gym pretty much like 6 days a week. And I'll do something like a push-pull legs kind of split. So one day it'll be all pushy movements, one day's pulling movements, and then the other day's like legs in general. And then I repeat that. So it'll be 6 days straight, and then Sunday will be off. And and I just try to get a lot of work in. I don't care as much about lifting the heavy weight. I'm just trying to not rest too much, get my cardio in that way, and get a lot of work and get a lot of sets in. And then I also incorporate sprinting and like just running in general about 3 days a week. So yeah, it's a whole lot of work. And then there are times where I just go 2 days a week, or 2 days, 2 times in a day. So Monday, usually Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, which are the days that my daughter goes to cheer. My wife's not home, so I'm here by myself. So I'm like, I'm go to the gym and go do cardio.
Nice.
So
nice. That's and also on top of that, as far as like, physically looking good, you have some awesome like art that you as well. You have some tattoos as well. Can you just kind of tell us like what some of those tattoos mean, and if there's any special meaning behind them?
Yeah. So all my in my attempt to be extra, my original vision was I had to OCD had to have like all Japanese themed tattoos because I didn't want to mix things up, and I don't know, to me that was weird at the time. My mind's kind of changing on that now, and I might, when I get some more stuff, I might vary it up. But the whole idea was that one side of my body would be kind of like the good side, and the other side would be the evil, so it'd be good and evil. So I have like an Ani mask on my one side of my chest, which is almost a scary monster type thing in Japanese culture. And then on the other side, I have like a geisha, which not a hoe, so that's not what most people associate with it, but okay. It's more of a geishas were like entertainers. They made people feel good. They help people feel better in Japanese culture. And then I have water lilies, which are just common in Japanese culture, or in Japan in general, but they're often seen in tattoos. And also my daughter's name is Lily, so it kind of has two meanings there. Also have a koi fish, which koi fish, the lore there is that, I guess the kind of similar to the salmon here, the koi fish would like swim to its final destination, really hard travel, and then it would at the end of it would develop into this like beautiful dragon. Also have a phoenix, and then I have let's see, I'm looking. I have lighthouse. I don't even know what anymore. They've been here so long. And then the tree, which are the what do you call them? What are these things? The tree, cherry blossoms. That's what they are. Cherry blossoms, which kind of stand for peace, tranquility, that sort of thing. So that's all my good side. The bad side, I do have one samurai, but I haven't really done much with that side other than the samurai, which has a sword and is ready to, do some killing. And then I have the most recent one I have now is on my forearm, and it's just a simple "I love you" in my wife's handwriting. So when I'm like out on the road, just kind of look at that. It's kind of like a little, somebody sent you a little letter or something. It's pretty cool just to look at and be like, oh, cool, she loves me.
Yeah, what a great reminder to help you strive for bigger and better things. And actually, that's pretty inspiring. The coolest thing about just a couple weeks ago, too, you were on the WWE Network, for Evolve. Can you talk about how was that night for you personally? Because that's a huge night.
Yeah, that was insane. Again, like, never thought I'd be where I'm at now and done some of the things I've done, been some of the places I've been, but that was the big one because for obvious reasons. But that was something that kind of just happened and developed like out of nowhere. So we didn't know about it way ahead of time. I didn't have time to let that set in. 2 weeks before the show, we found out, and it was like, oh, okay. So like I never had time to sit down and just be like, think about it. So I went into the show just like it was a normal show. I got into the ECW arena, and I'm looking down from the staircase where the locker room is, and all these people are in there. Everybody's going crazy. The setup, they've got, the WWE van or trailer or whatever outside the building. So that was pretty crazy. And then, so the show happens, my match happens, and still hadn't set in until like I walked to the back and, go through the curtain and after the match, and I just go to my knees and I kind of like break down because it finally set in, like I was like, holy crap, like that just happened. Got a good reception from the crowd and everything for the match, and it was just crazy to realize like, that after 15 years, 16 years, whatever, that like I'm going to be on WWE Network and it's done, and all this work has led to this. So yeah, I broke down and but it was happy. It was happy tears, and it was a good day, good night.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, what an incredible knowing that forever for $9.99 you're going to be on the WWE Network.
Yeah, the award winning.
Award winning, yeah, of course. That is something in a feat in itself. Not too many people have, but you have so many opponents that we can go through some of them. I mean, like Robbie E, Chris Hero, Leo Rush. I mean, these guys have forged, careers for themselves past the indies, and you've wrestled these guys, so it must give you some, some good feedback, knowing that not only is it trying to get noticed now, you are noticed and you've been on the network, and these are the guys that are right there with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, like I said, man, it's pretty insane. These are guys, and a lot of these guys that I wrestled at this point now are like guys that, when I was starting out that I was watching and, the studying and like copying their stuff. So, it's insane that, all these years later now I've been in the ring with most of these guys, and, but I've never felt like I don't belong, like I always feel good in there. And then so to be able to hang with those guys, and these guys are some of the best wrestlers in the world, I guess, in a way puts me on that same level. And 16 years later, like I said, like that's a lot of work. So I would hope that I'm at that level at this point,
Sure, and the right people notice too, because you're on the WWE Network. You have the, it's just, to me personally, it's just a matter of time until you're on there permanently.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see what happens, and you never know.
Yeah, now just going through this whole 16 years of wrestling, I'm sure like a lot of things have been learned on the way, a lot of lessons learned. What advice would you give to someone that's trying to break into the business in today's day and age?
I mean, it's said a lot, but there's two main things, and that is shut up. So close your mouth, shut up, and open your ears, right? So listen. Don't think that you know everything, because it takes a long time to really master this, and we're talking about guys like Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, whoever, those are the masters, right? So, and they're still learning. So there's always something to learn. So just shut up, especially starting out, and listen to the guys who matter. And then the second thing I think is like travel. A lot of guys get stuck in the same area. They're afraid to move out of that area, because they're so content where they're at, and the fans know them and all this stuff. No, man, you got to be uncomfortable. You got to be uncomfortable. That's how you grow. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations and learn to thrive in those situations, and then that's how you get better, and that's how you grow, and that's how you evolve, and you gain that wisdom and experience, and then you're able to do whatever you put your mind to. So those are the two things I would say.
Sure. It's no secret that you and Austin Theory have had your battles, your rivalries in many places. But, when you saw him pop up on NXT, I mean, was there some professional jealousy there?
No, man. No, he works hard. So I'm not taking anything from him. I'd rather not be jealous of other people. I'd rather worry about what I'm doing, So he definitely deserves to be there. Not going to take that away from him at all. So I hope, I hope he shows up on TV soon. I hope he does well. But if he's in the ring with me at Evolve, like he was recently, I'm going to beat him like I just did.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Absolutely.
Now, great.
Yeah, like now Andrew, he just he kind of went through a whole list of like who's of guys you've been in the ring with. Now, is there anyone that you haven't been in the ring with that you're just like I would love to work with them?
Currently, I mean, nobody that pops off the top of my head, honestly. Because I have been lucky enough to be in there with most of the guys that I've wanted to really be in there with. Other than like obviously guys like Shawn Michaels, which is just way out there things, but like that would be the big dream would be somebody like that. But as far as like independent guys or just guys that I see often and are around often, no. There's a couple guys like of course I haven't had a chance to do that want to be in there with, but no real dream matches. But like I'd like to get in there with like Tom Lawler. I'd like to get in there with Lucky Kid. Like, I think he's really good. He wrestles a lot for WXW in Germany. Those are the two guys that pop off the top of my head. I'd like to be in there with Timothy Thatcher again. There's a lot of guys in Japan, but, again, I don't want to be realistic, If they were to come over here, that'd be cool. Hideki Suzuki, Shuminori Abe. There's a couple other guys from Japan, because Japan's like my stuff. That's a lot of what I watch and am familiar with, and I watch it all, but that's probably my biggest one is all Japan stuff. So
nice, that's definitely cool. And if there was one guy you could get in the the octagon or whatever with from MMA, who would you pick?
I really don't want to get in there with anybody anymore, but. But like, I don't know, maybe like Nate Diaz, just because I want to, see what it's like to be in there with him.
All right, cool. All right.
That's a good pick. That's definitely a good pick.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: are you a country fry?
What's that?
Are you a country fry? Because you're from the South, right?
Yeah, I'm from the South. Yeah.
So I'm
from Georgia.
You like what is it, like Georgia pie, right? Isn't that like pecan pie? Peach pie,
pecan
right?
pie is awesome,
yeah,
actually. Right? But like, as far as like, like. I don't know, but what most people consider like, traditional Southern things, I'm probably not the guy.
No?
No, not really.
You like country music?
I don't eat like a lot of fried foods or anything like that. I don't really care for them, even if I'm like eating something that I want, outside of dieting. I really don't care for fried foods. I don't eat like collard greens and all that sort of thing. I do like pecan pie though. That is good. Yeah. Sweet potato pie is also good.
Do you like country music? Are you a big country guy? Or
I absolutely despise country music.
Right. We're on the same page there.
Yeah, seriously.
So what kind of music do you like?
Yeah, that doesn't come on my in my car. It's not allowed. Especially that stupid Old Town Road song. Every time I freaking hear that, I threaten my daughter all the time.
That's for the kids, man.
Oh man! So what kind of jams do you like to listen to? Are you like hip hop, rock, punk?
I like a lot of different stuff. I like a lot of older stuff. Like, okay, so my playlist from Spotify and stuff is very eclectic. It's a wide array of various music genres, everything from pop, Backstreet Boys to Disney music to gangster rap to metal, new metal. I'm a big 90s guy, especially like 90s alternative acoustic and stuff like that. I like a lot of rap. Really anything other than country. Just don't give me country.
Sounds good to me. Yeah. So, besides, wrestling or, mixed martial arts, are there any other interests or hobbies or, anything that, talents that we wouldn't know that you would have?
I'm really big into the fitness stuff, and that's even outside of, it being part of my job in professional wrestling. So I have several college degrees, and I'm working on a second master's right now.
Oh, man.
And it's all in the same field, which is basically the fitness field. So yeah, working on that, and if wrestling doesn't work out, hopefully, that'll probably be the backup plans to do something with that, whether it's own a gym and run that, or something along those lines. Maybe train athletes, something like that. But yeah, that's a big thing for me.
Do you ever think you would see yourself doing like an actual fitness competition?
I thought about it, because like right now, probably like the leanest I've ever been in my life. And that was just it started off with just getting ready for that WWE deal. And yeah, I just kept with it. So I thought about it because I don't think I'd really be that far off if I wanted to compete, just actually go back to dieting for hardcore for a couple weeks, and I'd probably be lean enough. So I've thought about it, but then again, it's dieting on 1,400 calories, which was where I was at my lowest for like 2 weeks. It's not fun, and I had these crazy binge days because of it that I couldn't control. And so I'm just now kind of like getting myself back to normal, like not having these crazy cheat days where I eat like 10,000 calories. So I don't know if I could actually stay disciplined enough to do it. You really have to have a lot of discipline to get that low body fat percentage.
Sure. Have you seen The Rock's cheat days? I mean, those things are incredible.
What's that?
The Rock, his cheat days. Have you seen those? Like,
No, I haven't. Is he a sushi guy? I feel like he'd be a sushi guy.
Nah, he's like pancakes.
He's eating like 10 stacks of pancakes, 100 cookies.
No, okay, so he probably out eats me because he's a large individual. But I can give you an idea of what I've done. Okay. So just for example, I'll give you like 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago when we were at Evolve last. So came in. First thing off was I wanted donuts. So I asked the promoter, Gabe. I asked him. Usually there's donuts at the venue, and I didn't know who brought them. I thought maybe Evolve brought them.
Uh-huh.
I asked them ahead of time. I was like, cool, because I'm trying to be good. I'm like, at least somewhat good. So I'm like, if there's donuts going to be there, I'm not going to go grab donuts, right?
Uh-huh.
So never got an answer. So I was like, screw it. I found a donut place, and I went and got 6 donuts. Now, I didn't eat them all. I was still good. I came in. I shared half of every donut with somebody. So I technically only ate 3 whole donuts.
Okay.
But then I get to the venue, right? I get to the venue, and there's 3 boxes of Tim Hortons donuts. I'm like, what the? So then I proceed to eat like 4 more donuts. So that's 7 donuts, right?
Yeah.
That I've eaten. Went from that to, and of course I ate regular food that earlier before that too, like a grilled chicken sandwich and some other stuff. And then I think we got McDonald's after this that night. So, and I ate a bunch of candy and stuff in the car. So once I get started, I could stop the next day. I thought I was going to make up for it the next day and be good. We're in Chicago. So, of course, somebody's going to get Chicago pizza, deep dish pizza. And I'd already eaten at this point. We ate breakfast at the hotel, eggs, some other stuff. We got deep dish pizza. So I ate deep dish pizza, like 4 slices of it. Then we get to the venue. This guy was from Chicago. He was giving the wrestlers hot dogs, basically. He even named a hot dog after me. So it's a hot dog with like macaroni and cheese and garlic bread on it and like all this crazy stuff. So I ate that. But then after that, we went to a restaurant and went to IHOP, and I got something that was like a 3,000 calorie meal. It was like the Monte Cristo. You ever had that?
No.
Never had.
It's like a French toast sandwich. So it's a French toast as the bread, and then you have like ham, turkey, and melted cheese, like a grilled cheese. And then you got like this jelly stuff that you dip it in. So I got that. Plus I got the pancakes on the side, but I got the specialty pancakes, and they were the sweet Italian cannoli pancakes. They were awesome.
Oh my God.
So I ate all of that in a 2-day span. And I've done worse before, and I'm not even going to go into that, but that's just an example of my last one. So yeah, that's why, and that's a result of me doing those crazy dieting for so long. It was like, I don't know, like 12, 16 weeks I was dieting. And then at the end, like I said, 1,400 calories. And it just drives you to have like a pretty unhealthy relationship with food if you're not careful. So, yeah, I'm going to stay away from the competition.
Yeah, man.
And maybe the bathroom too.
Yeah, seriously.
What's that?
Maybe the bathroom too, right? Because that would make you want to go if you're eating all that stuff.
Well, I had a previous day where like I had like hot flashes because I ate like a piece of cheesecake that was like 4,000 calories after having a French dip sandwich with French fries that were like a pound of French fries. So I probably ate like something like, I don't know, like 6,000 calories in one meal.
Wow.
And I felt horrible. Like I barely went to sleep that night.
That's nuts. That's pretty crazy. First of all, that's a lot of calories for like one meal, and then I don't even know how you were doing the 1,400 a day. I tried to do like 2,000 a day for like 2 weeks, and I was like, felt like I was dying.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing right now because I'm gradually going back up because just trying to regulate my metabolism again and stuff like that from these crazy binge days. So I dieted last week a little bit to get myself back to normal weight so that I'm weighing pretty much the same thing, and now I'm gradually taking my calories back up. But yeah, I'm on about like 2,100 right now. So, but it's not that horrible, especially if you get creative with what you're eating.
Awesome. All right. So here's a question then. What's the best cheat meal that you could have if you're cheating on your diet?
Man, cheesecake and donuts. I really have been a donut guy lately, and I never was before. But if you find really good donuts, it's so awesome. The cheesecake, because I've always been a cheesecake guy. And then one of the best things I've had, other than like a savory thing, would have been when we were at the ECW arena that night after the show. We went to Tony Luke's and got a Philly cheesesteak with Cheese Whiz on it. Nice. And that was my first time I ever had that. And then I got that, and also got these sweet potato fries they had, or tots, and they had like caramel sauce and powdered sugar on top. Both of those things together were like the most amazing thing ever. So those three things, one of those three.
Man, we have to go out with you one night because that sounds incredible. But yeah, I mean, before you alluded to that you had some Disney songs on your playlist on Spotify, but are you a big Disney movie fan? I mean, what kind of movies are you into?
Yeah, I'm a huge Disney fan. So Lion King's my number one fave ever. Okay. And that's like not just Disney, that's any movie. And that's the original Lion King, the animated one. Not that the other one wasn't bad, but it's not as good. I also like Lilo and Stitch a lot. I like Mulan. I like Moana. Actually, out of the most recent ones, that's probably one of the better ones. Hercules is good. Aladdin's good. There's a bunch of them. There's not many I don't like.
Are you a Frozen fan?
I'm actually like, I'm really a film fan in general. I watch a lot of horror movies too, so I can go from one end of the spectrum to the other, right? So go from watching these wholesome Disney movies to watching like all the horror movies. So those are like my two bigs are, those the animated movies, and then I'll go to watching horror movies. I'll literally look up, like the best horror movies that I haven't seen, and I'll look them up and see what the reviews are, and I'll go watch them all.
Nice. You see what I try to do is I like horror films too, but I'll look up the worst horror films and I'll watch those as well just to see how terrible those really are.
I can't get through those. I know that's like a whole thing, like B-rated movies. People like genuinely like watching those just because it's the novelty of it, I guess. Yeah. But I can't do it. I can't even what's the man, the dude with the chainsaw on his hand. What is that called? Army of Darkness.
Yeah. Evil Dead,
Yeah, Evil Dead. Like, even those, like, I don't know, like, it's hard to get past it for me. So I'm more into like the more serious ones, I guess.
Yeah. Who do you think is the all-time greatest like horror film star, like all time? Michael Myers, Jason, any of those guys?
Well, my favorite horror movie, and I don't really know that it's like legit the best, but for me, I guess maybe it's sentimental value. I don't know. but it's still good, is The Exorcist, because that was the only movie like originally like would really legit scare me, you know, because it was the whole paranormal thing as opposed to like this psycho killer. As far as like the slasher films, Freddy is probably up there, especially the original one.
Definitely.
The Nightmare, yeah,
Nightmares on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street, yeah, the original. Then Michael Myers, I think, is a bit scarier to me than Jason. I don't mind the Chucky movies, man. Like, I don't think it's the scariest thing, but like the movies are, some of the movies are pretty good. Like, especially even like the remakes have been pretty good.
Yeah.
Like or even before the remake, like the some of the sequels, the Cult of Chucky and the Curse of Chucky, like those were good.
Yeah,
and I haven't seen the remake yet, so.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
Neither have I. I'm more of a Care Bear kind of guy.
Jesus Christ.
I hear you. Care Bears are awesome.
Yeah, see?
I had an old VHS of those too. I remember, like, it was just in my house, and I watched it like a million times.
Yeah, they're so cuddly and nice, and no one dies. It's just like it's an ideal show for me.
I hear you.
You know, you have you been watching like Game of Thrones or Walking Dead, The Office? Are you into any of those kind of shows?
I have been. Like, I watched a good bit of The Walking Dead for a while, and even what's the other one? Fear the Walking Dead. I watched a couple of seasons of it. There's a couple of different shows. Like we watched, me and my wife, we'll watch shows together. Like, we watched 13 Reasons Why. We watched the Sabrina series on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's pretty cool.
I heard about it, yeah.
It's like not the Teenage Witch, but it's like a more occult version or whatever. Watch that. That other show, the new show, The Boys. Like, that one's pretty good. There's a few others, but we were into what is that, Breaking Bad for a little while.
It's a great
Never
show.
finished all of that, and we were into Dexter for a while.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, so you like some good stuff, man. But back to wrestling, I mean, you know, so many great guys, from David Starrs, to Ace Austin. I mean, you almost, you know, there's so much wrestling out there that people, you know, can literally turn on TNT in a couple weeks and USA and see a whole bunch of new crop of wrestlers that they haven't seen, and some old familiar faces. You know, is at the end of the day, I mean, is it WWE or would you like to go to somebody else?
You know, like for me, the goal really was always Japan. As I get older, I see that window kind of, you know, getting a little bit smaller and smaller. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we did the Evolve thing, and, you know, obviously contracted with Evolve. And so, yeah, right now, that's where I'm at, and that's where my concentration is, and obviously they're linked to WWE. So that's probably the biggest chance of anything happening would be there at the moment. And so if that happens, you know, I'm definitely looking forward to it. That obviously that is the goal, is to succeed as much as we can in this business. And so right now, yeah, WWE is it for me. Who knows what's going to happen, though? You know, you never know. Anything can change at any time. But right now, that's where I'm at.
Sure. I mean, again, you know, for Derek, we're going to say that it's not a matter of if; it's just a matter of when it happens. And we can't wait to see where you go past this interview, past, you know, the next couple of shows and events you got coming up, because, you know, we think it's going to be one hell of a start for you, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the support and the confidence, because, you know, it's hard out here for a pimp. No, man, it's I look forward to what the future holds. We'll see what happens. I'm still just gonna keep doing me and work as hard as I can, and improve as much as I can, because that's what it's all about, is constantly improving. You can never be too good. So I'm just gonna, you know, keep my head down, keep grinding away.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that, you know, it's because of us, but a lot of people we talk to, as soon as we talk to them, they just take off, man, and they get signed somewhere or something. We're good luck charms or something. So we're hoping the same happens for you, man.
You know,
That'd be really cool, man. I'm gonna get an email tomorrow, and then I'm gonna message you guys, and be like, look what happened.
Oh, awesome.
man. But Anthony Henry, you can catch him on the WWE Network if you type in that Evolve show. Also, you can check him out on September 28th in Wayne, New Jersey, as you're going up against Killer Cross. And plus, if you go to that GoPro show and you need some tickets in advance, just type in WIQ 101 and you'll save some money there. And you get to see a killer card. And of course, Anthony Henry will be in one of the premier matches that night as well. Anthony, where can people grab you on social media if they want to see you and stay in touch with you?
Yeah, definitely check me out. Go give me a follow on Twitter at the handle is Anthony Henry. That's ANTNY Henry. Same thing for the Facebook and the Instagram. Anything else I don't really use. Those are the three majors, and Twitter is the one that you can most commonly find me on. So yeah, definitely go follow me there.
Awesome. Sounds good. And, we definitely appreciate you taking the time out tonight and, just answering our questions and talking to us and giving our fans just a little bit of insight on, who Anthony Henry is.
Yeah, no problem at all, man. I appreciate you guys having me, and maybe we'll do it again sometime.
All right, I can't wait. And for us, we are Wrestling IQ 101. You can follow us right here on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wrestling IQ 101. You can listen to us on YouTube or across all platforms across the B Plus Player Network. Or if you type in Wrestling IQ 101 on iTunes, you'll find us there. And for next week, we will see you soon.
Peace.